I'm Anthony Bachman from All Things Good and Nerdy, a geeky podcast part of the Gonna Geek Network, just like the show you're checking out now. Shows on the network are individually owned and opinions expressed may not reflect others. Find other fantastic geeky shows at GonnaGeekNetwork.com.
Let's go now. I'm ready to go now. Why wait? Early bird gathers no moss. Rolling stone catches the worm, right?
What are you doing? Truman!
Where shall we go? Where shall we go?
Truman, where are we going?
Really, no. I guess I'm being spontaneous. Somebody help me! I'm being spontaneous!
Truman!
Forget Fiji. Can't very well drive to Fiji, can we? What about Atlantic City?
Oh, no. You hate to gamble.
That's right, I do, don't I?
So why would you want to go there?
Because I never have. That's why people go places, isn't it?
Truman, I think I'm going to throw up.
Me too! Locked at every turn. Beautifully synchronized, don't you agree?
You're blaming me for the traffic?
Should I?
Truman, let's go home.
You're right. We could be stuck here for hours. It could be like this all the way to Atlantic City. Let's go back. I'm sorry. I don't know what got into me.
Can you please slow down?
Yes, I can.
Truman, that's our turn off.
I changed my mind. What's New Orleans like this time of year? Mardi Gras! Look, Farrell. Same road. No cars. It's magic.
You let me out, Truman. You're not right in the head. You want to destroy yourself, you do it on your own.
I think I'd like a little company.
And welcome to Smoking and Drinking in Space. This is a sci-fi podcast from a couple guys who think they know sci-fi. And this week we watched the prophetic movie about a guy whose life is an open book, but not by choice, starring Jim Carrey, Laura Linney, and Ed Harris. It's 1998's The Truman Show. But first, he's the guy who can't drive a bus or a ferry. It's Rob. How are you doing, Rob?
I'm doing pretty good. It's been a while.
Oh, God damn it. You still have those?
No, see, I'm disappointed in my Christmas gift now.
Why?
Well, because I just recently found peanut butter cream pies.
Peanut butter cream pies? What the fuck are those?
Made by Little Debbie.
Okay.
Not a sponsor. Might as well be with the amount of times I eat these.
I know.
It is literally 2 peanut butter cookies with peanut butter cream in the center.
Wow, that sounds like peanut butter overload.
No, you know what it sounds like? Actually, you know what it tastes like?
What?
A soft Nutter Butter.
Oh, yeah, that sounds pretty good.
Oh, it's good.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it only comes in the big size. Oh, darn. But, oh man.
God. Your doctor has to hate you.
Actually, my A1C is awesome.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I can't see how. I cannot see how.
Well, you know, we haven't recorded anything for Satis for 3 months, so the last A1C was awesome.
Your next appointment is going to be trash.
What the hell happened? Well, Doc, you see.
We started recording again.
Yeah, we came back from summer break.
All right, you got any news for us this week?
Oh, shit. I thought I was ready. Oh, okay, hold on. Man, summer break, everything's totally crazy.
You pulled a me.
No, I didn't. I actually have them saved. I I just didn't have them pulled up. That was the problem.
Gotcha.
Yeah. All right, so let's start off good. Hold on. Let me get the nutter butter sandwich, not the nut. I'll keep the nut in my mouth.
Oh, gross.
All right. Jeffrey Dean Morgan, Negan himself, the comedian. You know,
is he a comedian?
No, he was the comedian.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
He was also played what was his Thomas Kent? No, Thomas Wayne.
Right. Yep.
Yeah. You know, and got himself murdered because
Right.
that's what Snyder does. Kills off Jeffrey Dean Morgan in the opening scenes. He is joining the cast for season 4 of The Boys.
Oh, really? What's he going to do?
Mm-hmm. They haven't stated what he's doing. He is going to be a recurring guest star. He is. It's under wraps right now. They're not. Kripke isn't releasing anything. They just. He just announced though that Jeffrey Dean Morgan is a super fan of the show. So he and I are talking. We're trying to figure out something for season 4. Nothing finalized yet, but he and I are chatting and emailing and seeing if we can make it work with his busy schedule. So stay tuned on that. So it's not, I guess, not official, but I mean, when the creator's basically saying, hey, yeah, we're looking for some way to pigeonhole him in.
Yeah. So I hope they pigeonhole him in a good way, not we're going to change some stuff and put him in and it's going to stick out like a sore thumb. Right.
Something productive.
Interesting. What else you got?
Let's see what else I got. Let me hit this bookmark here. So as of, well, let me preface this. It is Sunday, August 28th. Right. Artemis 1 is supposed to launch tomorrow, Monday, August 29th.
Right. Our friend SP was supposed to go down there, but it looks like he may not be able to make it.
Right. So this is going to end up getting released after the Monday launch, right?
Maybe. If weather doesn't stop it, yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and report. Artemis 1 has been postponed until 2024 because they can't do anything right, it appears. I don't. I mean, I hope it goes up on Monday. Karma's a bitch, and it seems to NASA seems to have bad karma in spades because the pad got struck by lightning 5 times.
Well, but they it wasn't the pad, it was the lightning poles that they put up around the pad for that reason, right?
Oh, right. Yeah.
And they said that everything looks fine, that the lightning poles did their job.
But
and everything, they're reporting that everything looks fine.
Yeah, but I'm not a betting man, but yeah. We'll see you in 2024 because that's when the next launch window is, if it doesn't go on Monday or Friday.
Well, isn't there like another launch that's supposed to happen now, but before the end of the year? That
let's see. That was actually in this article that I was reading. Let me find it. September 2nd, September 5th are the normal launch dates.
When is Artemis 2 launching? So that's not SLS,
year.
That's Artemis 2, but... Or no, this is Artemis 1. So this is the SLS.
Artemis 1.
Yeah, so
this is the SLS.
Okay, so when's Artemis 2 launching?
Let's see. They have other... they haven't said yet. It's next year.
Oh, is it next year? Okay.
Yeah, it would be next year because right now it looks like they have other window opportunities. I found it here. They have from September 19th to October 4th, October 17th through the 31st, November 12th through the 27th, and December 9th through the 23rd as launch opportunities. Now, it doesn't have anything here as to when Artemis 2. I do believe it is next year. I think they're just trying to get the first one off the ground. Yeah. So, this bodes well. Setback after setback. They're launching a brand new SLS Space Launch System mega rocket for the first time ever, and also trying to get around the moon, all in the same shot. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. What else you got?
Yeah. Let's see here. What else do I have? If I was prepared, I would have had these pulled up, but why?
You've never been prepared before, so why start now?
Yep. So Denise Crosby.
Okay. Yeah. Tasha Yar.
I'm glad you said Tasha Yar. Denise Crosby has hinted that Tasha Yar will appear in Star Trek Picard Season 3.
Okay. So they've gotten pretty much the entire next gen cast.
So I'm thinking it's some sort of flashback, which is weird because, older than fuck.
Right.
But, yeah, so a fan asked Crosby. She was at some sort of she was at the Star Trek convention in Las Vegas, and a fan asked Crosby if she would be part of season 3, which is bringing back most of the TNG group, and she responded by saying, and I quote, "Oh, I don't want to give away too much, but I'm going to tell you that you will see Tasha Yar, but I'm not going to tell you how. You've got to watch." So, yeah.
So she says that we're going to see Tasha Yar, but possibly...
But not
she
how.
didn't say that she's going to be in Picard. I mean...
Right.
So
but
they
Tasha Yar is going to be so CGI and voice her over, or
maybe, or they're going to use some archival footage to
deep fake.
I don't know if they're going to they may use some like
Luke Skywalker.
Maybe they may use some archival footage because remember at the end of Picard, they were dealing with the Borg, or they were dealing with that space butthole.
Yes,
and we think it's the Borg
that the Borg are protecting.
Yeah, the Borg are protecting, but maybe it's also another faction of the Borg on the other side. We don't know exactly what's on the other side.
Yeah, the new Borg are protecting. Yeah.
The first time that we encountered the Borg was on TNG.
Mm-hmm. Because of Q.
Yeah, because of Q.
Mm-hmm.
So... maybe they're going to use some archival footage to kind of fill everybody in on the first time that they encountered the Borg. Or maybe something will happen, and I don't know.
Wait.
It'll be interesting to see.
Hold on. She never encountered the Borg. She died before the Borg.
She
did. She got goo monstered.
Was that before the Borg?
Yeah.
That was before.
That was before Q who or whatever it was. Yeah, or before the one where they met the Borg. I only know that because I started watching TNG, and I haven't met the Borg yet, and Tasha's already dead.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how.
16th episode, so it's still in that first season. Oh no, 16th episode of the second season.
Yeah, I thought it was season 2 that they brought him up.
She died in season 1.
Yeah, they hinted at it in season 1 with, the destroyed colonies on the neutral zone. They hinted at there's some sort of evil big bad out there, but they didn't say what.
Okay.
So I'm not sure how they're going to do that.
Yeah, I'm not sure why they would bring her in, or
yeah,
who knows.
Well, I mean, they've jumped the shark on all kinds of shit in this season, last 2 seasons, I guess. So, why not?
All right. Anything else?
No, I've got three. Three seemed like a good amount. I don't have. I'm looking here. I don't have anything else saved. Other than the only other thing I've got is Warner Discovery is shit in the bed and is postponing everything.
Right. Yeah. They're only releasing like 2 more movies this year. Everything else has been postponed to 2023 or beyond.
Well, as of today, they're only releasing 2 more movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. That might change.
Whatever. All right. Who's ready for a pod crawl?
Me. Let's do it because I haven't heard a pod crawl from you in a while.
Yeah. Let's do it.
We can call it, I don't know, say a pod crawl? The pod crawl! Pod crawl! Pod crawl! Pod crawl! Excellent! Insert it deep! Pod crawl! Kind of like a space suppository full of information.
Christoph is a visionary. Not only does he dress like Steve Jobs and Samuel L. Jackson's illegitimate love child, but he's enslaved a person from before birth to satisfy the public's insatiable need to watch other people and live vicariously through them, either to make themselves feel superior because the subject's situation is far worse than theirs, or to fantasize about being someone they aren't because they envy the subject's life. Welcome to The Truman Show, a show about an insurance agent that has a massive following all around the world. The content is dull and pedestrian, but it's reality, so it hits that voyeuristic dopamine button. Truman is the star of the show, an everyman that the world has watched grow up on their screens, only Truman doesn't have any awareness of his situation. Everyone else around him does, and they are all paid to interact with him, to be his friend, to be his wife or mom. But when a falling star crashes outside of his house one morning, Truman starts to question the truth of his reality. After a couple more incidents involving his car stereo picking up the stage management frequency and documenting his every move, a craft services elevator and memories of his college crush being hauled off by her dad to Fiji, Truman catches on that maybe he's getting played here. Add to that his wife, who can't stand to be around him at this point, so she should get an Emmy for her performance because she nailed married life, is barely holding it together until one night when Truman snaps after a brief word from their sponsor. After trying to leave town by both ferry and bus, Truman decides he's just going to drive to places unknown. Dragging his wife along with him, and using her as his co-pilot across a bridge, he manages to leave Sea Haven and head on his way. Until there is a quote-unquote reactor leak that causes him to take a mad run through the woods and get tackled like a mental patient. One domestic violence situation and a reunion with his dad later, his wife is leaving him to become a political consultant and drug lord in the Ozarks, and Truman decides he's going to escape his golden cage. Ditching the cameras with the help of a garden shovel and ladder, Truman overcomes his fear of water and sets sail. Once Christoph finds out, though, there is no way he's letting his pet hamster leave, so he throws a weather tantrum to turn Truman around. However, Truman is done with fake life, and it's literally ride or die for him. After capsizing his boat, Christoph backs off, either through the realization that Truman isn't coming back through force, or that he's murdering someone on worldwide television. Truman raises the sail and sets off for the wall of the dome he's been imprisoned in his entire life. Truman vents his frustration. Christoph tries to show genuine emotion for the first time in his life, and roll Truman giving the big middle finger to his enslaver for 30 fucking years, credits.
All right, 1998's The Truman Show.
Short and to the point.
It is. It was. Short. Well, I mean, the movie was shortened to the point. It only ran like an hour and 45 minutes?
Yeah. Something like that.
What'd you think?
So I thought it was good. I don't remember this. I don't remember this as well as I thought. I remembered the movie. I remembered the main key points, and what is his name in Westworld? The Man in Black.
Ed Harris.
No, Man in Black. I was trying to make a Westworld reference.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Sorry. Anyway, I remembered him talking to Truman through the God, and the screen.
Sure.
But you know, the one thing that I didn't remember being so blatantly obvious was all of the forced product placements.
Well, yeah, I mean, but like they said in the movie, everything is for sale on the show, and they can't really, go to commercial break because it's a 24/7 live feed of Truman.
Right. Yeah, and I didn't remember all of that, and I chuckled, when the first one, the first one that really got me was the beer. Is Marlon, hawking the beer while they're having a buddy time. And
that's a beer.
Yeah, and it's turned the proper way.
Oh yeah. You got to see him. You got to see the label as he's sucking it down.
Well, yeah, and then the one that the one I never really noticed, and if it wasn't for the fact that I was like, man, there's so much product placement, was when the twins would always push Truman up against the board.
Yeah, up against that poster. Yeah,
yeah. I was like, oh, geez, okay, yeah, all right. But I mean, overall, I liked it. I've got a couple things here that we can talk about. But overall, it still kind of sort of holds up.
I thought it held up well. I mean,
I think
there's not a ton of special effects in this movie, but the few special effects there were held up. It's all practical, and they filmed actually in this gated community in Florida, so most of it is just that gated community in Florida.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, it held up, I think.
Yeah, I think it holds up well. I think the material holds up well, too. And it's kind of a mirror at this point of current society.
Well, see, that was one of the things. I'm glad you brought that up. That was one of the things I was going to ask. This show is touted, according to Wikipedia, holder of all knowledge, as a psychological, science fiction, satirical comedy drama.
Right. Yeah. It's got a wide net.
Yeah. The only thing it's missing is period piece.
Right.
Which I guess nowadays it could be period because it's from the 90s. They touted this as science fiction, which came out in 98. You had the Real World, MTV, Cribs. What else was the other
Cribs
big one?
Was not a reality show.
Not really reality, but it was, you
had the Real World.
But you go in and you look at people's houses, right, and stuff like that. It was a glimpse into their life.
Well, yeah, but they were doing that in the Robin Leach show.
That's true.
Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. They'd been doing that for a long time.
That's true. Okay, so Real World, right? So that came out in 92. That was the first year that Real World started.
No, Real World started in 1992.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, that's what you just said. Sorry,
That is what I said.
Heard 1998. Sorry.
Why don't you listen to what I say?
Because I don't like listening to you.
I know.
It makes
you're
me
just
dumb.
looking. You're like, okay,
dumb.
he's about to say something, and I need to contradict him.
Yes.
Because he's inevitably going to be wrong.
Exactly.
And then you go.
It's a reflex at this point.
It is. I understand. Anyway, so Real World started in 1992.
Yep.
So we had gotten a piece of reality TV, and I could understand them saying a type of reality TV. I can see them saying that this was a sci-fi. Nowadays, though, I wouldn't classify this as sci-fi so much, just because we have that kind of stuff in like Real Housewives, Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Big Brother does it.
Okay, but let's look at this in another way. So
okay.
It's sci-fi in that it's social science fiction, sure, because, we've got basically investors who have created this giant enclosed dome that's basically its own ecosphere. They've adopted an unborn child. Actually, they had a casting of 5 unborn children, and they adopted one of them.
Because he came out premature.
Right. Came out
And could
2 weeks
match
early.
the-
and
which could match the production schedule.
yeah, basically came out on cue.
Yep.
And then they've raised this person
Mm-hmm.
to film his every move 24 hours a day, 7 days a week,
Unbeknownst to
without
him.
his knowledge,
Right.
and using technology that would be fairly advanced even for today.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think at the time, yes, I would classify it as sci-fi. If they were going to make this now, I would have a hard time saying, yeah, that's sci-fi. I would, it would be a little with if they kept it the way, I guess the technology. If the movie was the same as it was in '98 and it came out today, I would have a hard time saying, yeah, this is sci-fi. It's just like, okay, they're taking a jab at the Kardashians or Big Brother or whatever. But for '98, yes, most definitely, I would consider sci-fi.
But I think it's even beyond just the reality TV, because like you said, we had the real world. There was a little bit of reality TV before that in An American Family, which was a PBS series in 1974, I think.
I don't remember that.
So we had reality TV before that, and even the kind of the precursor of what we consider reality TV today had been around since the 80s in daytime TV, like Sally Jesse Raphael and Jerry Springer and Montel Williams and Donahue and all of those that kind of switched to this. We're going to take real life people and discuss their situations and hope something crazy happens on air because that will get us the ratings.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what birthed the whole reality TV segment were those daytime TV shows.
True. Yeah.
So we had some of that. So I wouldn't say that the cultural phenomenon of reality TV was part of the science fiction part. I think it's the technology that they used in terms of just staging the area where they had this show. The fact that this show was on live 24/7, it was basically its own fucking network.
Right.
And the fact that they had this guy who had lived his entire life in a literal fucking bubble.
Right.
Had no idea that his life was being filmed for everybody else's entertainment. I think that's the social science fiction. Now, when you talk about the social science fiction as far as him presenting his life to the world for everybody else's entertainment, I don't think that's science fiction anymore because of social media. I think there's so much social media that does that nowadays that the Truman Show was actually prophetic in that situation. So,
okay.
People post their life on social media for everybody to watch, and that's nothing new nowadays. But back then, in 1998, I mean, that was who would even think of doing something like that?
Oh, well, if you ask Mark Zuckerberg, he was thinking about that back then.
In 98, he was thinking Facebook in 98.
Oh, yeah, you know it. Yeah. And so would this have the other thing that I have, and it's not something that they probably, I'm sure they dealt with it, but there's got to be legal issues.
Oh, there's a shit ton of legal issues, and I want to touch upon the legal and ethical implications of this movie.
Right. I mean, I can understand pre-18, right? Network adopted them, great. We have to assume it was a legal adoption on the up and up. Prior to being 18, you're considered a kid, blah, blah, blah. State of Texas, you turn 16, you get to determine where you go. But when he turned 18, at that point, wouldn't he have to be told
You would think. But I mean,
Yeah.
even
The only way I can see that they might have gotten around that is they paid him. And I'm doing quotes. You can't see it, but I'm doing air quotes. They paid him. So he's got some sort of bank account somewhere where he's getting paid for his acting services or whatever.
but they're violating his privacy at that point.
True.
So they've got privacy violations, and I think even as a kid they would have privacy violations because he didn't consent to being and I'm not a lawyer, so
What his parents did.
Well, his parents were a corporation. I don't know that I don't know. You also have child labor laws because he would be considered working the entire time that he's being filmed and broadcast, right? That would be considered his job.
Right.
So he would be working. So if they're broadcasting 24/7, he's working 24/7. That violates child labor laws.
Well, that violates like some sort of actors guild law.
Right. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. So there's a ton of just legal and ethical. He was never told that this was going on. He was basically a slave. Whether they paid him or not, whether they gave him food or board or anything like that, this was not of his free will. This was not a choice that he made. And when he tried to get out of Sea Haven, when he tried to leave the situation, they physically restrained him from doing so.
Well, and then not only that, you've got they terrorized him psychologically.
Yeah.
Killing his dad.
Yeah, so they give
sicking
him
dogs against him.
Yeah, so he's afraid of dogs because
He's got so many neuroses.
yeah, because they had a Rottweiler threaten him whenever he went
Yeah.
to the ferry that one time as a kid, and they killed off his dad in the sea during a storm. So now he's scared of the water, and this is all to prevent him from leaving.
And to tell him that there's nothing to explore. Everything's been explored, dummy.
I want to be an explorer. Oh, well, you're too late.
You're too late. It's been done.
There's nothing left to discover.
And then all of the like anti-air propaganda.
Yeah, I loved that poster in the travel agents.
Oh, with the lightning
office.
going
Yeah,
through
with
the
the
plane.
lightning going through the plane. This could happen to you.
Yes. Don't travel. Man.
Yeah, I mean, it was all propaganda to keep him in Sea Haven.
Yeah. Yeah, it was
So we have
gaslighting at its finest.
Oh yeah. So we have, enslavement. Child enslavement, no doubt. Child enslavement, and then just, he grew up enslaved. We've got, I mean, would you consider Sylvia or not Sylvia, but Meryl, a prostitute?
I mean, she did get paid to be his wife and
Right.
to sleep with him. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because
Are
you figure,
prostitutes legal in California?
I don't know.
Well,
Well, I mean,
can let us know and email us at smokinganddrinkinginspace@outlook.com. That would be great.
I guess you could consider it just
I'm asking for a
pornography.
friend. I'm asking for a friend.
She just got paid to do pornography.
Well, yeah. I mean, she's basically a porn star. She's the most famous porn star of all.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be any different than
But not only would the company be culpable, but everybody that worked for that company, because they knew that he didn't know and they were following along with it, would probably be culpable as well.
Right. I don't think the general public cared.
Well, obviously the general public didn't care. It was on for, 30 years.
30 years, yeah.
And it had this humongous following. And I think that's
Even
a
Asian.
great
Like
commentary.
even in the Asian societies,
Yeah.
in Japan and stuff.
And I think that's a great commentary on civilization and what we do and what we tolerate in terms of entertainment.
Right. You know, and I liked how they ended it with, oh man, I'm going to call him Scully because that's all I know him from. I'm sorry, not Scully. Yeah, no, that's Scully. Hitchcock was the other one from Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
I don't know who that is.
It'd be the dude with the flat top, the security guard.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
That's
I know who you're
Scully
talking
from
about.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Okay.
I liked how at the end they basically, you know, it went off air and they're like, let's find out what else is on. You know, they're just
so these
to the
rabid
next-
fans who watch this like constantly are now having to look for some sort of other form of entertainment.
Yeah, they're just moving from one thing to the next.
And back in 1998, I mean, there was no other really reality show. Well, there was The Real World. I don't even think Big Brother had started yet.
I think Survivor had just started. Maybe.
I thought Big Brother was before Survivor. When did Big Brother start?
It premiered in 2000. Survivor premiered in 2000.
Okay, so they both premiered in 2000. So yeah, it was another couple of years before two other really popular reality shows would kick off.
Right.
You watch any reality shows?
So I watched Survivor for a while. Man, I don't remember the last time I watched it. 2010, 2012, maybe. Reality wise, that's probably about it. I never watched any of the main, the everyday life type reality. It was always
so no Big Brother for you or Real World.
No, it was always reality competition type stuff. So Survivor, Top Chef, you know, those kind of things where it was competition stuff. Not
so competition shows like Top Chef or the cooking competition shows. I don't know that I really classify those as reality TV.
Right.
I mean, those are competition shows.
Right. It's not an everyday. Well, the only reason why I would say, and they kind of got away from it at the very beginning. Top Chef would show them at the Top Chef house or whatever after one of their competitions. You know, they're hanging out at wherever they have to stay for during filming.
Oh, okay. So yeah, Hell's Kitchen used to do something like that.
Yeah, but it wasn't like, you know, it wasn't like the entire episode. It was just, man, that was tough. Hey guys, here's love letters from your family,
right?
You know, videos from your family type of deal. You know, and it was half a segment and you're done, type of situation. But no, I never got into the everyday life, living your life bullshit like Kardashians and that kind of stuff.
Right.
Closest that I ever got was Survivor or like Naked and Afraid. I'd watch that before. But I watched that more for the the survival intrigue, not what are they doing? Are they going to backstab each other? You know.
I watched Alive, and I'm not sure that Alive I would consider, or Alone, not Alive, Alone.
Okay.
Alone I would consider reality TV, but it's different in that it's a competition, and they're literally alone. They don't interact with anybody except for the camera. So, I mean, I watched a lot of that when I was in Sweden because it was on every night, and it was one of the very few networks that was pretty much all English.
All English, but Swedish subtitles.
Yes.
Wait, you went to Sweden?
I did go to Sweden.
You know, that is weird that you said that, dude. I had a dude from Sweden on my on the other show. His name was Jason.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah,
so you just couldn't wait for me to get back. You had to go ahead and record shit over the summer.
Unlike you, my show has to keep going. I don't take holiday breaks.
Well, I see how you value my time. And input.
I did.
And
yeah.
No, I get it. I'm replaceable, is what you're saying. I'm replaceable.
dude, I've come to terms with the fact that I'm replaceable on this show. I'm just waiting for that phone call. Hell, I'm not even going to get a phone call. It's going to be a text message. Actually, you know what's going to be? It's going to be, hey, I hate to tell you this, but we're not going to be recording this weekend. I'm busy.
It'll be
okay.
We'll already started recording. You'll pop in. And this is uncomfortable.
Oh, this is uncomfortable. or better yet, it'll be it'll pop up on my feed that Satis has released a new episode. What the fuck? What? I don't remember recording this. Was I in a diabetic coma that day?
Probably after eating all those peanut butter cream sandwiches.
It's gone. I finished it. I finished it all. It's off. I finished the sandwich. It was good.
Yeah, so I mean, reality shows have been around for a while, and there's a huge variety of them. I don't know. I've watched a few for a little bit. I don't really. They're nothing that really, I think, gives me anything other than passing time. I think I've passed time with them, or the ones that I've watched. And
I don't watch them anymore. I don't watch. I like I said, I hadn't watched Survivor in forever. I used to watch that thing religiously, and then it turned into kind of like, okay, novelty's worn off for me.
So, what do you think the draw to reality TV is?
Living vicariously their lives. I mean, that's the only thing I can think of, like the draw to, like, Keeping Up with the Kardashians or the Real Housewives.
I've never seen either one of those, so I don't know what the draw is to. I've seen commercials, and I've looked at it then and going, I have no interest whatsoever of watching. That.
Oh yeah, I'm the same. I haven't watched. I have never watched an episode of that stuff. I might have seen clips or commercials of it, but I've never watched it, and I have no draw or desire. I don't want to see what everybody's doing because, let's face it, it's scripted.
Yeah, and that's the other thing.
Entirely manufactured.
This was scripted to a point. Right. Except Truman wasn't scripted at all.
Right.
He was basically doing his own. He was the ultimate in ad lib. He was doing his thing, and everybody had to react. They
were trying to guide him to go a certain direction, push some buttons, and hope that they get what they want out of them. But in
fact, the only time that we saw anything that was really scripted was when his friend, played by Noah Emmerich, what was that guy's name? Marlon. Marlon?
Yeah.
So his wife's name was Meryl and his name was Marlon? That's weird.
Yeah, Marlon.
Okay, so when Marlon was talking to him on the end of that, I guess, bridge that they didn't build.
Never completed.
Yeah.
This bridge has been uncompleted since I've been a kid.
Yeah. When he was talking to him over there, telling Truman, hey, I've been everywhere. There's nothing out there. Sea Haven is perfect. You shouldn't desire to go anywhere other than Sea Haven. Christoph was actually feeding him those lines. And that's really the only time that we ever saw. That's the only time we ever saw anything scripted. I mean, there may have been other instances of scripting, and they definitely had communication with the actors because you heard at the beginning of the movie, the stage management frequency that was telling people where to go, where Truman was. They were tracking Truman, and so they were throwing cues based off of that. But
so and you mentioned that stage frequencies and all that kind of stuff. Do you think that the age of the show, being on air for 30 years, attributed to the breakdown of the parts and ultimately what cued him in?
Yeah, so the movie opens literally with a fucking light falling off that was acting as a star in the night sky, right? It was Sirius 9, which is a star. I think that's, I can't remember what constellation that's in, but let's find out. Canis Major. So it's in the Big Dipper. Or no, that's Ursa Major. Canis Major would be Sirius. Is Canis Major? Research on the fly here. Canis means dog, but that's in the southern hemisphere. Why would they have Canis Major in the southern hemisphere? Or why would they have a southern hemisphere constellation?
Because he didn't know any different.
Yeah, that's weird. So it was Sirius 9, which is in Canis Major, which is the great dog. And it's the brightest star in the sky, known as the dog star in the southern hemisphere. So
Interesting.
yeah, that's strange.
Anyway, moving on.
So yeah,
Don't look too deep.
but so a light
Falls
from the sky, crashed, and that's literally one of the stars in the sky. So a falling star hit to start the movie, and then everything kind of starts going to shit after that. So the stereo on his car radio fritzes out. He gets the stage management frequency on his car radio, and it's basically plotting out exactly where he's going and what he's doing.
Which, wouldn't they have heard the fact that he was hearing that?
Well, and they eventually did, and that's why the radio announcer said, "Yeah, sometimes these things happen, and it's really weird when it happens, but we gotta."
That's just
they blamed it off on a police frequency. So
right.
But then they also later on in the movie, whenever they were looking for him after he had set sail, they were looking for him, and they said that there were several of the buoy cams that were out and weren't working. So yeah, they were having some technical issues, which I mean, they had like 5,000 cameras in that place.
Yeah. Well, and the rain didn't work properly. Right.
It started raining just on him, and he moved out of the rain. It was like, what the hell? And then the rain moved back over him. Yeah. So the weather program was having some issues. So yeah, there were definitely some aging issues on that show.
And I guess you can't be in a 24/7 show and not being able to let him know it. You can't necessarily fix everything.
Right.
As easily.
Right.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I guess you could have for some of that stuff, because, I mean, you got road work and that kind of stuff happening all the time around you, even in the real life.
Right. But I mean,
stop and go, hey, what are you doing?
You can't have somebody up on the roof repairing lights or swapping out lights.
Yeah.
I mean, well, you could. They could do it at night, right?
Yeah.
Because he's going to be asleep. So the chances of him, coming out and seeing somebody at night working on a light that's way up there is probably negligible.
Yeah, and I would assume that it was on some sort of scaffolding that you could have gotten to that's behind the sky screen.
You would think.
Yeah. It was impressive that Truman was Jesus and walked on water.
He wasn't walking on water. There was like a little platform down behind that. Yeah.
Yeah, behind the water tank.
I thought it was really cool when the boat actually crashed into the wall. I thought that looked really good, because it still looked like the horizon was still way off in a distance, and then the boat pierces the wall and just totally shatters that illusion. And that was just, I remember that was kind of jarring the first time I saw the movie, and it's still kind of jarring now, and I'm expecting it, but it looks really good. The set design in this movie was really good.
Yeah, lots of browns.
Yeah, there were. I mean, the entire thing was all just pretty much neutral colors and pastels.
Right. Yeah.
I have a question.
Okay.
Why the fuck would a grocery store need a vending machine, much less two of them?
Well, because he worked for a vending machine company.
No, I get that. But why did they put vending machines in the grocery store?
Well, I mean, the same reason why he put a candy bar in and took it out and then put it back in again. 'Cause he was supposed to. Product placement.
Oh my God. Yeah, that was weird.
What I found really, and this was just straight up stupid. I don't know who decided this was a good idea, but since when do you do a search for somebody and lock arms while you do it?
Well, you do that in a wide open space or a field so that everybody's going along the same path and they're not separating and you're not missing any spots. But you don't do that in a city.
Exactly. And you aren't locking arms anyway. You're probably 2 feet apart or something like that because you're supposed to be using flashlights and that kind of stuff to scan the areas. But they were locked in. And I'm sorry, but that damn Dalmatians
are just mean fucking dogs.
That's a mean ass dog.
Yeah. Dalmatians, I've never met a Dalmatian that was a friendly dog.
Really?
I've met a lot of Dalmatians.
I had a next door neighbor that had as a kid that had a Dalmatian. Nicest, sweetest guy.
And the meanest dog.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dalmatians
No,
are
the
just,
dog, I've never had a problem with Dalmatian, but
I've never met a nice Dalmatian.
Well, sorry.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's just, I don't see the appeal. If I was to be part of the real world or part of this, I don't see the appeal of watching it. It doesn't intrigue me.
Yeah, I remember when the Real World came out back in 92, 93. It kind of pissed me off because MTV was already starting to move away from like actual music videos at that point.
Right.
And then they dedicated this show that was like an hour and a half to 2 hours an episode. And I was like, well, shit, are they ever going to play music videos anymore?
No.
And so the few times that I actually caught the Real World because it was on after something else that I was watching on MTV at that time, it seemed stupid to me at that time. And I was, I don't know, my late teens at that point. Right. So, yeah, I mean, reality TV has never really held an interest. Some people may find it interesting. That's fine, I guess. You do you, but I don't see the draw to reality TV.
Yeah.
All right, you got a haiku for us this week?
I'm glad that you asked. I do.
I'm not.
Yeah. This one is titled Product Placement. Do you have a rash? Rash Be Gone is what you need. Only $5. What does that have to do with the show? Absolutely nothing. Just like the product placements. Had nothing to do with the situation.
Yeah, I loved whenever she did the Mococo.
Yeah.
And he was like, who the fuck are you talking to?
She's like, it's like she doesn't know what to do. So she's just like, well, I need to plug something.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say. So,
Product placement. Yeah.
Product placement time.
Yeah, this is an uncomfortable situation, but I have to do this commercial. This doesn't really fit.
Why are you down in the basement? I am messing with my lawnmower. Get rid of it. Get a new one. Try a Blade Be Gone or whatever. Roto Blade, whatever it was. Fucking stupid.
All right. You got awards this week?
I do.
All right. Who's got your black lung?
No one.
No one?
I didn't see anybody smoking.
Yeah, nobody was smoking.
Yeah. So Doc Coddle.
Doc Coddle.
Congratulations.
All right. Yeah, mine's going to Doc Coddle too. Nobody was smoking. There wasn't really anything that caught fire. And
nothing really. Nothing.
A lot of water, no fire.
Yep.
All right. Who's got your head lush?
I gave it to Marlon, specifically for his blatant advertisement on the bridge. But more importantly, I gave it to Marlon because anytime that he had to come over to diffuse a situation, it was with a 6-pack of beer.
I know. He always had a fucking 6-pack in his hand.
He did.
Yeah, Marlon's getting mine for the same reasons.
All right.
All All right. Who's got your player?
So it could go two ways. I was thinking of two different ones. First one I was thinking of was Mystery Girl, whatever her name was. Cheryl. Yeah. The one that got away.
Mm-hmm.
But ultimately, I decided I'd give it to Christoph for playing Truman for 30 years.
Wow. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So mine is going to go to Cheryl because while they tried their damnedest to get Truman and Meryl together, it was actually Cheryl. I'm getting their names confused here.
Meryl and Cheryl and
Sylvia. Sorry, Sylvia. Meryl and Sylvia. So while they tried to get Truman and Meryl together, it was actually Sylvia who he actually fell for. So
right.
And he pined for her and reconstructed her face out of magazine clippings, which is kind of creepy. But so all those years later, he was still pining for Sylvia, had plans to go to Fiji to find her. So yeah, Sylvia's getting my player.
Okay.
All right, Purple Hippo.
Purple Hippo's going to Truman. I mean, getting up one day and going, what the actual fuck? They're after me. I mean, the entire movie was about him thinking they were after him. He didn't know who they were, but they were after him.
And it's not paranoia if they're really out after you.
It's not paranoia if it's real.
All right, yeah, Truman's getting mine too.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a huge mind fuck whenever he realized that his entire life was being filmed.
Yeah.
He was being observed all the time, and that his life was basically a lie. It was a false reality.
Yeah.
All right, so I think it's time.
It's time.
I think it's time that we pick our next show.
It's time.
It's time.
It's time.
Stop repeating what I'm saying.
You stop repeating what I was saying.
Okay, so you have the choice.
I have the choice?
Yeah, you need to pick a number between
30
and
30.
161.
30.
You're just going to settle on 30, right?
Well, yeah, the show was on for 30 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Works.
Yeah.
Well, then tell me when to stop.
Don't ever stop, baby. Keep it going.
I hate you.
Keep it going. Click it. Click it. Grab your mouse and double click.
This is making me feel really uncomfortable.
The internet is for porn. So grab your mouse and double click.
I haven't heard that in a while.
Yeah, I know, right? Stop.
All right. So next week, we will be watching the movie where a group of medical researchers discovers a way to bring dead patients back to life. What do you think
Lazarus
it is?
Effect.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know if you were going to do like Frighteners or, yeah.
No, Lazarus. Well, I don't know any of the others. I know Lazarus Effect.
Yes.
Olivia Wilde.
Stars Olivia Wilde, Mark Duplass, and Evan Peters. Yeah. So,
Olivia,
in some
baby.
ways, I'm looking forward to this movie, and others I'm
bad.
not because it's got a 5.2 out of 10 rating on IMDb.
It's not that bad.
I mean, it does have Olivia Wilde.
It is. It does.
So,
Yeah. I've seen it.
all right.
I'll watch it
I have
again.
not seen it.
I'll watch it again.
Okay. Right.
And I'm not much of a horror guy. So
Next
I'll watch
episode, Lazarus Effect.
all right.
Are you looking forward to it? I mean,
Yeah, why not? It's Olivia Wilde.
okay.
She's hot.
She is. But, I mean, I can watch episodes of House and get plenty of Olivia Wilde, so
That's true.
it is true. All right, well, that's it for this episode. Our intro and outro music is "Welcome Home" by Cambo. Podcrawl music is "Snack Mix" by
Mitch.
Machek. If you'd like if you like the show, would you please shut up?
If you like the shit, rate us.
Please rate and review us on iTunes. You can leave us feedback on our Discord channel at smokinganddrinkinginspace.com/Discord, which is now on the Gonna Geek Network. So don't freak out if you use that link and then get transferred to our Discord channel on Gonna Geek. So we can also on Twitter at @status_podcast, or you can email us at smokinganddrinkinginspace@outlook.com. If you'd like to throw a few nickels our way, you can become a Patreon supporter by going to smokinganddrinkinginspace.com/Patreon. For this week, I'm Jason.
Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
We'll talk to you next episode.
Yeah.
All right. Got any awards?
Whoa. Look at your show notes. There's something else that's supposed to be happening.
Oh, are we still doing that?
Damn straight. I got to have some sort of contribution to this show.
Damn it. I was hoping you'd forgotten.
Hell no.